In this video, you'll discover how to achieve dynamic inner balance, a flexible, integrated state that will enhance your self-awareness, increase your adaptability, and help you meet life's challenges with your full range of human qualities. I'll show you why popular approaches to masculine and feminine energies actually limit your growth, and how a different approach unlocks capabilities you didn't know you had. Like Maya, who struggled with being either too assertive at work or too accommodating in relationships, you've likely experienced the frustration of feeling incomplete, no matter which mode you choose. This fragmentation isn't just uncomfortable, it's limiting your effectiveness, relationships, and well-being. The concepts of divine masculine and divine feminine speak to something fundamental within us, a recognition of complementary energies that dance through our lives. They tap into our intuitive sense that wholeness comes not from rigid separation, but from integration. But here's where most content gets it wrong. Instead of liberation, they offer new limitations through stereotypes and false binaries. This exploration offers something genuinely different. We're moving beyond simplistic categories to understand these principles as a spectrum of interconnected human qualities available to everyone. Our journey follows this roadmap. First, we'll unpack what these energies truly represent. Then explore 4 practical bridges to integration, and finally, unlock the dynamic inner balance that transforms how you navigate life's challenges. Think about a recent situation where you felt limited by being either too much or not enough of something. Perhaps too analytical and not intuitive enough, or too nurturing and not assertive enough. This common experience reveals how we've internalized artificial divisions within ourselves. Let's quickly establish what these principles traditionally represent. The divine masculine is commonly associated with qualities like action, logic, structure, strength, protection, leadership, focus, assertiveness, decisiveness, and analytical thinking. Think of times when you needed to create order or manifest intentions in the external world. The divine feminine encompasses qualities such as intuition, nurturing, creativity, emotional connection, receptivity, collaboration, flow, empathy, compassion, and the state of being. Reflect on moments when you accessed inner awareness, fostered connection, or engaged in healing. Quick reflection. What qualities traditionally associated with the opposite gender do you secretly admire or wish you could express more freely? Remember these as we continue. They're key to your dynamic inner balance. Here's your first valuable insight. These qualities aren't gendered in reality. Despite what conventional frameworks suggest, these capacities exist within everyone, regardless of gender identity. The division is artificial and limiting. But we must address the elephant in the room. The very terms masculine and feminine carry significant historical and cultural baggage. Millennia of patriarchal structures have embedded limiting stereotypes within this language, which is why many people feel disconnected from aspects of themselves. This alienation isn't just uncomfortable, it's robbing you of capabilities you need to thrive. When you reject qualities because they don't fit your gender identity or self-concept, you lose access to essential tools for navigating life's challenges. This exploration acknowledges these challenges directly, not for political correctness, but because true integration requires honest examination of what blocks our wholeness. So why exactly are popular approaches to these energies holding you back from achieving dynamic inner balance? The problem is binary thinking. When well-meaning spiritual content presents these energies as opposites that need balancing, they're actually reinforcing the very division that causes your inner conflict. This binary model suggests that qualities like logic and intuition, action and receptivity, structure and flow are fundamentally opposed rather than complementary aspects of your experience. Here's what's happening in your daily life because of this. When you're being analytical, you might feel disconnected from your intuition. When you're nurturing others, you might struggle to set boundaries. This constant either-or toggle is exhausting and ineffective. Instead, let's embrace a beyond binaries approach, seeing these principles as a spectrum of interconnected qualities available to everyone, regardless of gender identity. The Taoist concept of yin and yang offers a powerful metaphor. These forces aren't rigidly separate. Each contains the seed of the other, flowing continuously into one another. The boundary between them is fluid, not fixed. Your most effective moments likely occur when you access multiple qualities simultaneously. Consider a situation where you felt stuck between being too assertive or too receptive. What if instead of choosing, you could access both qualities fluidly? This integration is precisely what dynamic inner balance offers. This approach transforms how you operate in daily life. Instead of trying to balance separate energies like juggling different personalities, dynamic inner balance allows you to access your full range of human capabilities in any moment. You can be both analytical and intuitive, both structured and flexible, both assertive and receptive, depending on what the situation needs. This is what psychologists call psychological androgyny, the integration of traditionally polarized qualities that creates extraordinary flexibility and adaptability. Research supports this approach. A landmark study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that individuals with high psychological androgyny demonstrated 30% greater creativity in problem-solving tasks and reported significantly higher levels of life satisfaction. These individuals were able to adapt their response styles to different situations, rather than being limited to gender-typical behaviors. Now we're moving toward a more liberating model that will help you access your full range of capacities beyond limiting stereotypes. The foundation of dynamic inner balance that transforms your effectiveness in every area of life. Now that we understand how the spectrum approach creates the foundation for dynamic inner balance, let's explore 4 practical bridges that turn this insight into daily transformation. These bridges connect abstract concepts to your everyday reality. Throughout human history, myths and symbols have demonstrated exactly what dynamic inner balance looks like in action. These aren't just ancient stories, they're practical models for accessing your full range of capabilities. The Greek pantheon offers perfect examples of dynamic inner balance. Athena could shift fluidly between wisdom and warrior strength depending on what the situation required. Apollo moved seamlessly between logical analysis when solving problems and creative inspiration when composing music. These deities demonstrated precisely what you're developing: the ability to access different qualities fluidly and appropriately rather than being trapped in one mode. When facing a complex negotiation, you can embody Athena's dynamic inner balance, bringing both strategic wisdom and protective strength to the table. When tackling a creative project, you can access Apollo's integration of structure and inspiration. These mythological figures aren't theoretical, they're practical templates for how dynamic inner balance operates in different scenarios you face daily. What makes these stories powerful is their function as enduring examples of your potential for dynamic inner balance across all life domains, from work to relationships to personal development. Carl Jung's psychology offers practical tools for achieving dynamic inner balance. His concept of integrating the conscious with the unconscious parts of yourself, what he called the shadow, is essentially about reclaiming qualities you've rejected but actually need. In simple terms, your shadow contains all the traits you've disowned but that are essential for your dynamic inner balance. For example, if you identify strongly with being logical and rational, your intuition and emotional awareness may be in your shadow, and accessing these qualities is key to your complete effectiveness. The process of becoming your whole self, what Jung called individuation, is exactly the journey toward dynamic inner balance, bringing your full spectrum of capabilities into conscious awareness and practical use. Think about it. What qualities have you disowned that might help you respond more effectively to life's challenges? Your path to dynamic inner balance involves reclaiming these aspects so you can deploy them when needed. Let's make dynamic inner balance even more concrete by connecting to your actual physiology. Your nervous system naturally shifts between different states that reflect complementary capacities. The sympathetic fight-flight-freeze response activates action and protection, while the parasympathetic rest-digest and tend-befriend responses enable receptivity and connection. Dynamic inner balance means having conscious access to both systems rather than being stuck in one default mode. Next time you feel stressed, notice, are you defaulting to action when receptivity might serve better, or avoiding decisive action when it's needed? This awareness is your first step toward dynamic inner balance. Let me guide you through one powerful practice you can implement immediately, the integrated response exercise. Identify a current challenge where you feel stuck or limited in your response. Center yourself with 3 deep breaths, focusing on the sensations of breathing. Ask yourself, what quality am I overusing here? E.g., logical analysis, emotional empathy. Then ask, what complementary quality am I neglecting? E.g., intuition, boundaries. Visualize integration. Imagine these qualities as different colored lights merging into a new color. Embody both qualities. Physically shift your posture to express both energies simultaneously. Respond from integration. From this integrated state, consider how you might approach the situation differently. Practice this 5-minute exercise daily for 2 weeks and notice how your response flexibility expands, the essence of dynamic inner balance in action. Here are additional practices to develop specific qualities you might want to strengthen. For focused presence, try breath-focused meditation daily, counting each inhale and exhale. For intuitive awareness, practice body scanning, moving attention through your body and noticing subtle sensations. For integration, try alternating between structured and free-flowing activities. As you continue this journey, bring your critical thinking along. It's not opposed to spiritual growth, but essential for authentic, dynamic inner balance. Think about a recent challenge where you felt limited. What disowned quality, perhaps one you've labeled as not for you, might have helped you navigate it better? This is the heart of dynamic inner balance we're working toward. By critically examining your own assumptions about what qualities you should express, you can identify where you've unnecessarily limited yourself. This isn't about conforming to idealized divine energies, but expanding your personal repertoire of human capacities to achieve a more integrated, authentic self. This critical awareness transforms spiritual concepts from rigid dogma into flexible tools for genuine growth, exactly what you need for developing dynamic inner balance. Now we arrive at the transformation this journey offers: dynamic inner balance. This is what you came for, and everything we've explored has been building toward this powerful shift in how you experience yourself and your capabilities. Unlike the static, perfect balance that most approaches promise, dynamic inner balance is a flexible, integrated state where you consciously access and appropriately deploy your full range of human capacities depending on what each situation truly requires. Let me show you what dynamic inner balance looks like in action through specific examples. Professional example. Meet Layla, a team leader who struggled with an important presentation. Before developing dynamic inner balance, her approach looked like this. Before, Layla spent weeks obsessively perfecting her data, ignored her intuition about what her audience needed, rejected collaborative input as inefficient, and arrived exhausted and anxious. Her presentation was technically flawless but failed to connect, leaving her demoralized. After, with dynamic inner balance, Layla approached the same task differently. She used structured analysis for her data, while also trusting her intuition about engaging her audience. She balanced independent work with collaborative feedback and made time for both focused preparation and restorative breaks. Her presentation successfully blended rigor with connection, and she left energized rather than depleted. Relationship. Example. Consider Miguel, who struggled in his relationships. Before, Miguel oscillated between completely suppressing his needs to please his partner and then erupting in frustration when his boundaries were crossed. This pattern left both him and his partners confused and disconnected. After, with dynamic inner balance, Miguel learned to express care and attentiveness while also maintaining healthy boundaries. He could listen empathetically and communicate his needs clearly in the same conversation. Instead of swinging between extremes, his integrated approach created relationships with both connection and respect. These aren't theoretical cases. They represent the practical transformation dynamic inner balance offers in every area of life. What's one area of your life that would transform if you could move fluidly between focused action and intuitive receptivity? Imagine the possibilities this dynamic inner balance would create. In practical terms, dynamic inner balance means moving seamlessly from being assertive in negotiations to receptive when connecting with loved ones, integrating logical analysis with intuitive insight to solve complex problems more effectively, engaging in focused productivity when needed, then embracing genuine rest without guilt, expressing strength and vulnerability appropriately, rather than being stuck in one mode. This integration creates tangible transformation across 4 dimensions. Increased self-awareness. You'll recognize your full spectrum of capacities and tendencies, seeing clearly which ones you've overused and which you've neglected. This awareness alone resolves many internal conflicts. Greater psychological flexibility. You'll develop the ability to move fluidly between different modes of being rather than rigidly identifying with a limited set of traits. This flexibility is what psychologists increasingly recognize as central to mental health and effectiveness. Enhanced resilience. With more tools at your disposal, you'll navigate life's complexities with greater adaptability. When one approach isn't working, you won't feel stuck. You'll access alternative capacities. Reduced inner conflict. As you integrate disowned aspects of yourself, you'll experience less internal struggle and greater harmony. The energy previously spent fighting against parts of yourself becomes available for creative expression. Beyond these core benefits, dynamic inner balance transforms 2 critical areas. Reframing weaknesses as strengths. Those qualities you've undervalued, perhaps because they didn't fit cultural expectations, become valuable resources. What you once saw as weaknesses transform into sources of unexpected strength through conscious integration. Enhancing relationships. By recognizing these dynamics within yourself, you develop greater empathy and understanding in all relationships. You'll navigate conflicts more skillfully, establish healthier boundaries, and create more authentic connections. Remember the societal context. Our culture typically overvalues constant doing, achievement, and logical analysis, while devaluing being, nurturing, and intuitive knowing. This imbalance drives the burnout and disconnection so many experience. Your journey toward dynamic inner balance isn't just personal transformation, it's contributing to a more integrated collective culture. We've traveled from fragmentation to wholeness, from limitation to possibility. The concepts of divine masculine and divine feminine carry both transformative potential and significant pitfalls. Their appeal stems from our deep longing for integration, but only through nuanced exploration can we access their true value. What's one quality you've disowned that you'll begin reclaiming today as your first step toward dynamic inner balance? The unique power of this approach lies not in the concepts themselves, but in how we engage with them, with nuance, critical awareness, and a focus on authentic integration. This addresses what's missing in popular content by offering depth and providing credible pathways for transformation. Your next step is simple but profound. Tomorrow, intentionally access a quality you've previously disowned. Notice how this small act of integration begins shifting your experience toward dynamic inner balance. Perhaps, if you typically lead with logic, pause to ask what your intuition suggests. If you usually prioritize others' needs, practice asserting a boundary. If you're always in action mode, schedule 10 minutes of genuine stillness. This journey toward wholeness isn't about conforming to external ideals. It's about reclaiming the full spectrum of human capacities available to you and developing the flexibility to express them fluidly. As you practice this integration, you'll find yourself responding to life's challenges with greater wisdom, effectiveness, and authenticity. This transformation ripples outward, affecting your relationships, communities, and the broader culture. By moving beyond rigid binaries in your own consciousness, you contribute to a more balanced, nuanced, and compassionate world. Continue this exploration through the practices we've discussed, bringing both open-hearted curiosity and critical discernment. Remember, true transformation comes not from adopting new spiritual concepts, but from embodying them in your lived experience. Thank you for joining this exploration of the divine masculine and feminine. Until next time, may you embrace the full spectrum of your human potential and experience the transformative power of dynamic inner balance.